of these?
No.
Okay. All right. Hey, my name's Emily, and you know Dr. Tomasetti. I know him as Adam. We've been married for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
And this was my idea, not his idea, my idea. I thought we could do something called Tuesday with the Tomasettis, and using you've got a lot of clinical experience. You've been practicing for over almost
20 years.
Well, it was almost 22 years if you count like clinics. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Adam, you guys know he's an applied kinesiologist, and then I have our oldest is 22, so I have over 22 years of mothering experience. So between the two of us, we are quite the dynamic duo. Mm-hmm. And so we thought we could do, things that patients and my clients, I'm a life coach, are struggling with or interested in. We can pool our collective knowledge and create kind of a little opportunity for some learning and hopefully help you guys out. Because our goal is that you get to be and do all the things that God's put you on the planet for. Yeah. And if you can learn from our experience, our knowledge, and that allows you to not have to learn the lesson in the hard way that we did, then all the better. Yeah. Like our ceiling, your floor. That would be amazing. So
we're here to help you get well and stay well. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're after.
Yeah.
So we're talking about thyroid tonight. And the question is, how can the thyroid function cause weight gain? And then we'll talk about like foods to avoid, foods to consider adding in. These are my clinical experiences. This is not medical advice for you, so just keep that in mind. Also, a little bit about me. Sometimes my voice gets tight. I've got the same vocal condition that Robert Kennedy Jr. has, so bear with me on that. But thyroid. So, where do we start? It can cause weight gain, and briefly, here's how. The thyroid hormone, thyroid lives in your neck, and the gland makes a hormone, and makes a couple hormones, but for simplicity, the thyroid hormone then goes and connects to your cell, like if that's your cell, and you got little docking points on it, then the hormone comes along in the bloodstream, connects to that docking site, and then turns on the signal inside the cell to make energy.
Okay.
And that's a simple version. So
and then energy, where does the energy production cause weight gain or?
Yeah. So if there are toxins that are connecting to this, or there are, for various reasons, things interfering with that function or the thyroid's ability to make hormone, or if there's anything in that system that's blocked or not functioning right, then your body's thermostat basically turns down. Your basal metabolic rate, it's called, lowers, which means just everything kind of slows down. It's like putting the brakes on the whole system.
Yeah.
And so you can feel lethargic. You can feel...
It's almost like a hibernation. I mean, not to that extreme, but that's what happens. Your body, metabolism slows down. You feel cold. Yeah. Your hair falls out. You want to sleep all the time. Yeah, you have thinning eyebrows.
Cracking on the skin of the heels is a good indicator as well. And your labs might come back normal, right? But you can still have all these symptoms of an under-functioning or hypothyroid, and be gaining weight for some unknown reason, but your labs are normal.
Well, I think that's an important thing to talk about, though, because normal is not optimal. So while people can have normal labs, they're not optimal functioning, right? And so that's important. So you're not clinically in dis-ease, but you are not being your optimal best self.
Metabolically, you're in dis-ease,
right? But but as far as your lab work can come back as normal, it's not on the the two ranges that would be flagged when you get the report back, right?
So the way they get lab numbers is basically 80% of the population's in the middle, and then you have your outliers. So if you're in the outlier, it's disease, and they can medicate it. And if it's within that normal or the
The
standardized
normal
bell
80 range or whatever.
curve, then that's normal. But most people function, in my clinical experience, most people function optimally between a TSH of 2 and 3 in that range.
Okay.
Well,
That's important to know. Yeah.
And so if your TSH, that's thyroid stimulating hormone, that hormone is produced by the pituitary in the brain, and that message is sent to the thyroid to tell it to go to work.
Okay. So if our TSH is a 2 or 3, that's optimal. That's what your clinical
Most
experience
people-
has said. So if our TSH is a 1 or a 4, like if it's in that 1 is underactive, right?
1 would be hyper or overactive. So the lower the number on that particular test, the lower the number, the higher functioning or over functioning the gland is. It's
so
making.
That's okay. So then the thyroid is yelling louder. Hey, 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 hey.
So the TSH made by the brain, try to keep this simple.
Okay.
If you have to send a lot of messages, right, then your inbox is full. And so the TSH number will be high because the pituitary is sending a lot of those signals to the thyroid to work. So a high TSH means get to work, do your job. You're under functioning.
Okay.
All right. And then on the other side would be a hyper or overactive thyroid, and the brain or the pituitary doesn't need to send hardly any signals. Like it's like, hey, we don't need to send you many messages. You're already working too hard.
Got it.
And so don't.
Okay, I understand.
That's how
that's
that
helpful.
kinda
I
works.
didn't know that.
The other thing to know with the labs, briefly, is let's say a TSH. The range is like typically 0.5 to 5, and it's a logarithmic scale. Meaning, let's say for example, a TSH of 1 is 1 hormone. A TSH of 2 would be 10 hormones. A TSH of 3 would be 100 hormones.
Okay.
A TSH of 4 would be 1,000 hormones. So there's a huge difference in how many messages are sent.
It's not just a one step.
It's not a linear.
It's not like a cute little.
Right. It's not
it
1 to
just
2 to
popped
3
up
to 4.
a little
Right?
bit.
It's like,
No, it's
it goes up.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a huge range, but you want to keep it fairly tight for optimal function. And if you're 4 to 4.5 or 5, you can have all the symptoms of low thyroid, but they can't medicate it yet because it's not technically.
All right. So let's say you're a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Again, this is just clinical experience.
Right.
What would your recommendations food-wise be, really quick?
Well, here's the thing. Foods are big for thyroid. And so commonly minerals like iodine and selenium are helpful in that. Also, so like products like Alaria Supreme from Supreme Nutrition is a sea kelp blend.
So it has iodine in it. And that's, I think you can only get that from healthcare professionals, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And but it's a whole food. It's a seaweed blend. So brown seaweed is a good idea. And then Brazil nuts, that's the one that stuck in my mind for the test. The Brazil nuts are high in selenium.
They taste disgusting.
Yeah. But Brazil nuts, they're high in selenium, which can be helpful.
Yeah, of course.
And then foods to avoid are foods that are like fried foods, bad fats, sugar.
Which is generally good for everybody to avoid.
All the junk food.
Right. So if you cut the junk food out, you're going to feel better, right?
Right.
But specifically for thyroid, there are some specific foods, though, besides the normal junk that nobody should eat, right?
Yeah, some people have goiters, which is a growth on the thyroid. And there are some foods that are called goitrogens, which means it makes them grow more. And that's a family of foods that are called the cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, cauliflower,
cabbage, right?
Cabbage, I don't think is actually in that. Maybe I'm wrong, but Brussels sprouts, I guess would be so it's cabbages.
Mom,
she knows,
experience,
right? Yeah, so those are the foods that would tend to make a goiter worse. I think, an average or in moderation, if you're eating junk food and broccoli, don't stop eating the broccoli, right? So some common sense on that one. But
so that would not be good if you're eating junk food all day long and then with a dessert of broccoli and you have a goiter.
Right.
That's not a good idea.
That's probably not a good idea. But yeah, those are main foods to avoid. Yeah, and so other things I find clinically helpful is the thyroid needs to move through the lymphatic fluid in the body, and the hormone moves through the lymph first. And so the lymph muscles are in the chest wall. Let me rephrase that. The muscles that move the lymph, that some of the main lymphatic ducts drain through, are in the chest wall.
Okay.
And so the fibers run this way. If you reach under the armpit, you're gonna grab in that pec muscle.
Oh, that's
and massage it out, often tender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did push-ups today.
And right, it might be sore for other reasons, but that could be a good way to kind of move that. When you're walking and doing movement, exercise is good. And, pumping the arms will contract and relax that and allow that muscle to move fluid through the body.
Okay, so even just walking, it doesn't have to be like
walking,
super fast pace or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
move
the
body.
movement. Okay.
Yeah, move your body.
Move your body.
And what else is helpful with that? Oh, there's a commonly reflex for lymphatic drainage for the thyroid. It enhances the neurological function to the thyroid as well, we found. And it's a couple finger widths below the collarbone in between the ribs.
So.
Yeah, like about 2-3 finger widths below the ribs. And you rub from the sternum over to the armpit line.
Okay.
And you'll find an area that's usually tender, sometimes more one side than the other.
Now I'm curious because this side's pretty tender.
Yeah.
This side's not as tender.
And so, rubbing in there, 30 seconds to a minute, and it might be very tender. If it is, it could be related to a thyroid challenge, and that can help to support thyroid function.
Okay.
And it may help your shoulder because the thyroid relates to the teres minor muscle in the shoulder, which is part of your rotator cuff in the back, and it helps you move your arm out like that. And so people that have thyroid issues, you'll commonly see them walking around with their hands turned backwards.
Like the cartoon cowboy, right?
Yeah, right. So the arms turn back because that muscle inhibits when the thyroid's under functioning. So things that are kind of fun clinically to look for.
Okay.
And we can talk more about that, some more detail. But I guess the other thing would be stress, right?
Right.
And holidays are a big time for stress.
Mm-hmm.
And some specific stressors affect different parts of the body we found. And with the thyroid, it's commonly like abandonment or loss. Or things like, what else? Not confusion. That's a different one. But you might have some of that too. Feeling depleted or run down.
Yeah.
Right? Feeling muddled, instability, like you can't figure it out. Ups and downs.
Is that thyroid? Muddled instability?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like feeling stuck in the mud. Like, so confusion can play into that a bit.
Okay.
Feeling, we mentioned depleted or run down, heartbroken. Another, all these feelings and emotions tend to relate to the thyroid function, the pituitary function, the adrenal function. They all work together as a dance.
Right. And so we'll probably do another Tuesdays.
Yeah, we'll
Tuesdays
talk more about that.
Studies. We'll probably do adrenals.
And how to work on it. Yeah, we have to talk about how they all connect.
Right.
But for now, yes, thyroid can cause weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get it dialed in right, you just feel a whole lot better. Everything in life is brighter.
Absolutely. I know. So just personal story for me, I've been working with my thyroid. So in February of 2024, I got on the scale and I was like, oh my goodness, I've gained so much weight. This is not good. And I wasn't feeling good either. So from February 1st until August 1st, September 1st, I lost 20 pounds. And then, we got some labs. Remember, we got all the labs done and figured out that was just through like mindful eating. Stopping eating only when I'm hungry, stopping when I'm full, making whole food choices, all that stuff. But, and normal exercise, walking, lifting weights. But then I started the protocol from your office and had some good supplements that were helping my thyroid. And I dropped like 13 pounds in a month and 5% body fat. And my energy my energy still is great. I feel like I'm myself again, where all that time I was trying to work with a very tired a tired / sluggish thyroid and I was losing weight, but it was really hard. And then we got my thyroid figured out.
6 kids running a house.
Well, right. Yeah. But that's
grad school. And
yeah. I was doing grad school too. I forgot about that. Yeah. I just finished my master's program. Anyways, it makes a difference. That's the whole point here, is that optimal good thyroid function can help you to lose weight. And if it's not functioning well, you can actually gain weight. Yeah. And you feel kind of yucky. More than kind of yucky. I felt really yucky.
If your labs are off and you're on a medication and you want to change that up, find somebody that knows what they're doing with thyroid. And if you need help finding somebody, let me know. And I can help direct you into the right area.
He's got like a bat phone
close to us. We can help figure something out.
Resources of other docs that do what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Merry Christmas. Here's our tree. Bows were a new addition this year. And not everyone in our family thinks they're cute, but I do. And I just put snowflakes up yesterday in the windows. Cute. Oh, thanks. I think you're cute too. All right, guys. Merry Christmas. Have a great night. I hope this was helpful. Good night.